All right, let's have it. Of course, you all know who Ace is, and spawning in the top right-hand corner, there he is, the man himself, as the blue Zerg. And in the bottom left-hand corner, spawning in as the orange Terran, we have dOTY, also a familiar name to many of you. I'm sure both of these players well experienced in the scene. And yeah, I can honestly say I've casted Ace probably significantly more than I've casted dOTY, but I don't want to rule him out as of yet. And I'm sure we can see some decent stuff from both of these guys.
Indeed. Sorry, still working on the overlay, but yeah. PVZ on Jade is, excuse me, I like this map for Protoss personally. I feel that it's not really constrictive enough that lurkers can really just dominate it. You have to have the lurkers in a very, very nice position. And as long as Protoss doesn't allow laying run-bys, I think that they can set themselves up for a very nice mid to late game.
Yeah, I think you're going to be right. Just having a look at the overview of the map now, I think that's a very, very valid point. There is a little bit of a tricky situation outside your natural. If you do get lurker contained, then that can make life a little bit difficult. There's a fairly narrow choke, but it would have to be pretty good, and fighting up a ramp could also end up happening if you let your contain get pushed back too far. So I think what you say is valid, and this map should be decent enough for dOTY to compete. Throwing down the 9 pool as well. Maybe a little bit odd on a map of this size. I would expect more to go for a 12 hatch kind of thing.
Yep. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll see. Ace actually has thrown down the 12 pool. A little bit rare to see in a PVZ. And dOTY should have no problems with getting cannons up in time. Actually, where's dOTY's bank? Shouldn't he have... He's queued up a lot of probes.
Yeah.
He's going to be like up to 15 probes before he throws out a Nexus?
No, that makes sense. That's quite normal.
Okay. Yeah. So, I guess what he's going to do, he's going to be able to scout Ace in time. He isn't going to be forced to build cannons too quickly here, but actually he's going to throw down one. I guess probably should play it safe here and get that cannon down just to be sure, but wait a second. He put Forge on top.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad.
There's no other way of saying it. That's bad. You should not do that. That's bad walling. Fundamentally. Unless the gateway walls with the cliff,
yeah,
I'm
thinking that if he puts it down there, then maybe, but still, there's going to be this weird gap in the center that the pylon blocks, so Dragoons are still not going to be able to get out. So,
yeah.
Maybe that is an indication that dOTY hasn't played a lot of... Oh, and he's not doing that either. So yeah, that's not a tight wall. Maybe dOTY hasn't been playing much PVZ lately.
Yeah, I think he needs to go back to D- and rethink this wall, because this is quite poor. I mean, that's going to be not even vaguely tight. There's going to be plenty of ways through for the Zerglings. So yeah, if Ace notices that, then that could be a little bit of a problem. It looks like he's probably going to be okay for now. I mean, Link speed is of course going to be pretty late. He's going for a more expansion-y style build with the top left-hand corner being made up as well. But even so, a little bit of a mistake there from dOTY. And even if it doesn't specifically come back and bite him on the ass, I think that's probably a little bit of a problem. Just demonstrating maybe a bit of a lack of tight game knowledge.
Yeah, he's blocking it with a probe, as if that makes the wall tight. But as you said, I don't think Ace is going to be punishing it. He hasn't made a lot of lings, and it's a little bit too late to be doing that now. Speed, he does not have speed, I don't believe. But even if he had speed, he has so few lings out on the field. I think it's just 4 that dOTY will get away with his Forge over Gateway wall.
Yeah, he probably will. I'm just explaining the stats to somebody in the chat. I mean, the stats that we have compiled here are stats from everything. I mean, this is comprehensive stuff. I mean, we have our loyal numbers guy, of course, Mr. Hacklebeast here, been churning away like crazy, getting every last stat that he can. So yeah, what you see is as accurate as you're going to get.
The stats are anything that has been played with money on the line since TSL 2.
It's going to be a Hydra bust.
Everything. It's going to be a Hydra bust. Yeah, it's certainly looking like a Hydra bust, as he has no SimCity, and he already has the Hydralisk den down and is researching Hydralisk upgrades. Well,
yeah.
That's still not a terribly good wall to defend against Hydra Busts either, because the gateway is so far forward that it can be picked off really easily. The pylon might even be able to be sniped if he goes if he's at a point where he needs to build lots and lots of cannons.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's definitely going to be having to build plenty of cannons. He's got a second gateway on the way in, so he should be able to wall quite effectively with his zealots and hold off a Hydrus in that way. But he does get a full scout in on Ace's base. I'm surprised that Ace allowed that to happen. He could have just hold positions some stuff on the ramp and would have kept dOTY a little bit in the dark, even if not entirely. So maybe a little bit of an error from him there. And a few zealots now pushing up, managing to actually stay alive. So dOTY's doing a decent job there. And he's actually in with a shot here. He's got a good scout off. He's got a decent position with his zealots to scare off those lings. And he can throw down as many cannons as he likes. So I think he's actually looking fairly good to take it into the mid game.
Yeah, dOTY going for a very zealot-heavy build as he has 3 gateways almost completed. Speed is on the way. Speed was started even before the Stargate was. So, yeah, he's going to be able to get a lot of speed lots out. And if Ace isn't careful, and he loses, if he loses a good number of his initial Hydralisks, then dOTY's going to have a huge number of speed lots with Ace having no Sim City. This is actually a really dangerous situation for Ace at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he runs the risk of being seriously anti-busted. I mean, dOTY's going to have a lot of units just shortly after he is. And even at the same time, because we can already see plenty of zealots out, as the first Hydras make their way across the map, I'd say that dOTY has the overwhelming force at this point. So there's going to be no Hydra Burst as of yet. At least he will be able to produce at a decent rate and possibly might be able to steadily draw ahead. In terms of unit count, if he makes sure to be producing off all his hatcheries, we can see he's definitely a little bit worried about this, laying down some extra creep colonies at his top left-hand corner as well. I feel that he's not in the comfortable position he would maybe like to be at this point, and dOTY seizing the initiative with a decent build order.
Yep, Overlords did scout it, which is quite fortunate for Ace. If he had moved all the way out across the map with his Hydralisks and lost them, that might be an unwinnable position, but he's still not out of the woods yet, as 9 speed lots with +1 freshly done as well are moving out, and there is Little Sim City. There are sunken colonies at one of his bases, but nothing to protect the sunken colonies. At the other base, a lot of Hydralisks that only do 5 damage a shot to very beefy zealots, and they're just going to go straight in. How good is dOTY's micro?
Good enough to pull back in time. I mean, I think he sees that there's an overwhelming number of Hydras there. He could go and have a little bit of poke at the top left-hand corner. He might have success there. 3 ton colonies, decent enough, but not so decent against a really, really good number of zealots, especially not on their own. Relatively unsupported here by Hydras. Only 3 Hydralisks up there. So I think he might have some joy if he was ahead up there. And these Hydralisks laying their lives on the line just a little bit here. I think dOTY can take that on. I think he needs to reassess that. He can definitely deal with these Hydralisks, and he chooses to do exactly that. And this could be really, really bad engagement for Ace if dOTY micros this well. Not getting the best of surrounds and letting his zealots be a little bit slow with their engagement there, and he won't be forced to pull back. Just having a look at how his macro is. He's doing an okay job of continuing to produce zealots, keeping his minerals nice and low, but he's got 2 Stargates in now as well, so he's going to have to support a big Corsair production if he does in fact decide to pursue that, which he may not as of yet. He might wait to see if he can do a little bit more with big speed zealot count first. Now moving on to high tempo production as well. So this has been relatively without calamity for Ace. I mean, I think dOTY's maybe missed a little bit of a trick there. His micro wasn't quite up to scratch.
dOTY got very greedy there. He went directly for the main, even though the main was more likely to be defended, and he had more hatcheries there, so he could produce more Hydralisks. If he had gone for the natural, he would have been able to win the game immediately, but he almost certainly would have been able to crush 3 Sunkens and 3 Hydralisks. And given that the majority of Ace's Hydralisks were all contained in the natural and all didn't have speed, they probably would not have been able to get over there to punish the Zealots before they were able to kill the hatchery. So dOTY, I think dOTY just jumped the gun a little bit. He wanted to go for the game-ending kill. Didn't quite pay off for him, and the little bit of indecision he had with the micro there, allowing those Hydras to get off an extra, 30 shots before the Zealots finally engaged, really does not help either.
No, definitely not. Indecision is often the worst killer of all. It can make a bad engagement much, much worse, and can turn a good engagement bad very quickly as well. So dOTY not having the position that he could at this point. He's still got decent map control. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's still got a good number of speed zealots out. He's for some reason isn't really researching +2 Not quite sure why he's missing that, because he could have +2 almost in already, and that would of course make him a real force to be reckoned with, especially since we see +0 armor still on the Hydralisk. Just having a look now, I don't see. Okay, the evolution chamber is there, and he is evolving. He's evolving weapons. Okay, so his Hydralisk is going to be a little bit weak. We have a good engagement going down in the middle, which is nice for dOTY, and getting a decent surround this time. He might actually have a good foothold here, and his Hydras are tracking back across the map. He's going to head up to the top left-hand corner, as he should have done a long time ago, and I think Ace needs to be turning around right now so he can get up there and try to defend this, because there's going to be a lot of zealots right up in his face very, very soon. Having a look at the Storm upgrade, I believe it's either not started yet or done. That could be either very, very good or very, very bad for dOTY. And if he gets some nice Storms off from the high ground up here, he could do really, really well and might be able to get a decent position. Okay, he does have Storm already, laying down a good Storm there. He has one DT in there, which was almost taken out by his own Storm, but not quite falling. And he does have one more side Storm in here. And if it's good, then it could be pretty much the end of Ace's army. He's going to have a really rough time remacroing a new one to actually deal with this. And dOTY has him in full retreat now with a pretty much pure speed zealot army composition, but those extra Storms really going to make all the difference in case of any big engagement. The Corsairs roaming around now as well, but as of yet unable to do any real damage. Most of the Overlords staying pretty much safe at the Zerg's natural expansion, and I'm surprised dOTY isn't pushing on to the top left-hand corner right here.
Yeah, he looks like he's turning around and attacking it once again. This time, Ace does not have as many Hydralisks, and I guess he managed to remake as many Hydralisks as he had, but dOTY's force has gotten stronger, and they're on the other side of the map. It looks like dOTY's going to go in for the attack. He has time to set up a nice Sim City, but will it be enough? Storm's going down on some of the Hydralisks. The Zealots are now streaming in, and there is no way that this expansion can hold up. The question is, will Ace be able to punish him on the way back, running into the big Hydralisk force coming up from behind?
Yeah, I think what dOTY needs to do is he needs to make sure that this is well bottlenecked. Maybe using a one Storm a bit too early, jumping the gun there. dOTY needs to preserve his Storms, and he can get a great engagement, but lovely Storm goes down on so many Hydras right now. Does he have any more in his army? I believe he does have one more still left. Yes, he does, and there it is. Nice Storm going down again, and he's going to make absolute mincemeat of this base. So this base is not going to be lasting any longer than it already has done. So no third right now for Ace. And his army count's dwindling a little bit as well. His supply block too. Those Corsairs finally doing a little bit of damage for themselves, and that third base is pretty much entirely gone. And I don't see how Ace can get the aggression back into this game. I mean, these Zealots are going to be cleared up, and he probably doesn't want to be losing those Corsairs since he get in over the natural and do a lot of damage and take out a lot more Overlords. But in fact, it's probably not going to matter hugely. I mean, it's always good to keep your Corsairs alive, but it's probably not going to make too much of a difference. Pushing out with another big army here, dOTY maybe a little bit too impetuous. He probably can't take on the remainder of these Hydralisks, but I think he's in a fantastic position right now.
Yeah, dOTY did lose a lot of units at the end there just because they were surrounded. The Hydralisk picking them off, but taking out that third more than worth the trade. And dOTY's with a lot of gateways is going to be able to get a lot more speed lots out once again and go in for the attack. Ace not microing this engagement at all, is losing so many Hydralisks. And the one or two Mutalisks he keeps making are not going to be as effective as he wants them to be just because there are Dragoons to help out. And Ace has lost all of his Hydralisks once again. dOTY is back to being at doubled supply, and here come the Mutalisks that should have been a little bit sooner. They're going to try to snipe the Templar. Yes, the Templar does go down, and the Dragoons can chase them off, but still, so much damage done to Ace, and he does not have that huge core of Hydralisks that can threaten the bust.
Yeah, the Observer sniped out there. I can't even imagine why. I don't know if it was a misclick, but I don't think the Lurker upgrade's even done. I don't see any Lurkers on the field. Don't see any morphing either. There are more Hydralisks coming in, but he's producing off 2 bases. There's no way he can compete. I mean, there's such a big economy, such a big army out there for dOTY already. A couple of Corsairs coming in now, going to try and see off those Mutalisks. They're going to be forced to pull back with 2 Stargates up. In just a second, he will have enough to deal with the Mutalisk threat, and his army roving around, still looking pretty strong. And he's definitely going to be able to hold this third base and get that up and running. So his economy is only going to go from strength to strength. That top left-hand base is coming back in for Ace, but I think he's going to have a very, very hard time holding it. We have a handful of Hydralisks moving out onto the map now, but not looking too ominous. I think that they're going to be very, very easily dealt with if dOTY chooses to do so, which in fact he will, pushing out now, possibly for the final engagement. He's going to be going in, and these Hydralisks are going to be caught piecemeal as well, in the very worst situation they could possibly be, but he has less than 1 control group right now, and that's going to be no match at all for this strong core of Dragoons mixed with Speed Zealots. GG from Ace. Great first game there by dOTY. Very, very convincing after his original wall-in calamity.
Yeah, I mean, who needs walls when you're just going to go 3-gate speed lot? Insane attack wave. Yeah, Ace, dOTY just, that build really hard countered Ace, put Ace in a really hard position to be in. He had to have spot on Hydralisk micro, and after dOTY landed a couple of really good Storms, it was GG from there.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
that was very convincing. After all the doomsayers in the chat at the beginning of the game, I was surprised to see dOTY play quite so dominantly. That was really pretty thorough. Even though his early game didn't go quite as he planned, I think, yeah, he's looking good.
All right. So, next game going to be on Neo Aztec. All right. All right. So, let's get into that. Game number 2 of Ace versus dOTY.
Yep, ready to go. I'm also about to link the Reddit thread in the chat. I'm sure most of you already upvoted it, but please do so again. It does help. It does get us more views and gets more people watching Brood War, which can only be a good thing for you, me, and everybody else in the entire world, even if they don't know it yet. In the bottom right-hand corner, spawning in as the yellow Zerg, we have ISL 3 Ace. And on the left-hand side, spawning in as the orange Protoss, we have ISL 3 dOTY. So yeah, what do we expect to see from this game, Hacker Beast?
I think that Ace is going to play it a little bit more straight up. I really would be very surprised to see him go for another Hydra Skull-in. I was kind of surprised to see him go for a Hydra Skull-in in the first game, but on this map, given the build that dOTY went for beforehand, I think Ace would be very well served to just play a standard game and try to elongate it out.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, curious to see what dOTY's going to do. May see something similar to last game. I mean, that kind of big speed lot stuff can be very, very accessible, relatively simple to pull off, and can really work if you just want to go for a big aggressive style and kind of mess up the Zerg a little bit in his game plan. But I reckon Ace is probably going to be able to plan for that quite nicely, and dOTY now scouting in the wrong direction, going to head up to the top. And question on my mind and everybody's mind is, will he be able to wall in correctly?
I am quite curious myself. I kind of hope that he doesn't. I don't want players to play bad, but at the same time, no. That's not the quote-unquote correct wall on this map, but he is going to at least have a gateway above the forge. Yeah, that wall will work, despite the fact that that's just a very large gap.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, Ace went for an overpull, so he is going to be able to get Lings out theoretically faster if he so chooses to.
Such a weird wall. I mean, when you've got that little bit of map doodad, why wouldn't you use that to kind of extend the wall upwards for free? So strange.
Also weird that the pylon's going to be... No, the pylon's not going to be in front of the wall. Okay, so the wall's not going to be tight. Anywhere.
Yeah. Not at all.
Okay, sorry, I was expecting him to put the gateway here. You can't see Elegant, but everybody else can. And then that would be tight to then put cannons back here. There'd be a nice little crevice here, and it'd be a big gap, but so be it. Now he's gonna put the gateway anywhere, and then there's hole here, hole here, hole here. Well, is Ace gonna go Lings? Ace is gonna go Lings. Oh, yeah. Boy. Alright, let's put dOTY's wall to the test. It'd be really funny if Ace saw the wall last time and went, "Oh man, I totally should have Ling busted him." I'm going to do that.
Yeah, well, that might be what's happening. I mean, it could help. It definitely will. It definitely will help dOTY that he has 2 cannons up, so that makes things a little bit easier for him. And we don't see a huge count of Lings being produced. We have 8 Lings, which is slightly more than usual. Usually, we only see 6 or maybe 2. And just looking at it, yeah, we're going to have the gas coming in, but it's not going to be any kind of big speedling run by or anything. So this wall is probably going to be adequate. What is that gateway placement? I do not understand one bit quite what he's thinking with this wall in. That's going to get immediately picked off by one single Hydra standing out there, just having a bit of a crack at it. Very, very strange by dOTY. Pulling 4 probes as well to try and defend this. Bizarre stuff.
And 4 probes isn't even close to enough. If
it's so loose.
If walling is an art, then I feel like dOTY is Picasso, because it's just things everywhere. And I don't get art, so I don't get this wall either. Cybercore is kind of good, part of the wall-ish in a way. I don't know.
I don't think so.
It's who knows?
That's not bad.
It's not a definite wall. It's kind of like a nebulous wall. We are all part of the wall.
It looks like the wall exploded and got scattered over a wide area. Somehow just kind of landed, plopped down on the map. Well, no offense to those of you, just got to come out and say it. Just worst walling ever, without doubt. This takes the biscuit. Someone should screenshot this. But yeah, the cybernetic score is going to be coming in, and we'll see where the tech divergence takes him. I would imagine it's going to be standard stuff, given the rumblings that dOTY is not entirely confident in doing anything dynamic in terms of PvZ. He is going to get a scout into that top right-hand base of the Zerg, so he's going to know exactly what's up. Not that he wouldn't have assumed as much anyway. And meanwhile, we have standard stuff happening from Ace. We have the lair on the way in. No gas as natural just yet, which is entirely to be expected. And that probe getting a little bit forgotten about, might get taken out by Lings, but either way, it's done its job. And we have the +1 air weapons coming in right now, so it could even be some kind of Corsair Reaver thing, and that would be a very, very daring attempt from our Protoss player.
It is possible. Clearly going for a very different build than he did last game, but in the last game he also got +1, so dOTY clearly showing he's a fan of very strong Corsairs. Ace also playing more of a standard way as he got his lair of spires on the way and hatcheries. 4 and 5 shouldn't be too much long, and dOTY is actually going to come in here and poke around a little bit with just a couple of zealots, see if he can catch Ace off guard. Zergling speed is done, so it's a little bit easier for Ace to surround, and he's going to try to not lose too many drones here, but these zealots are pretty much given free reign as the Zerglings just keep running away from him.
Yeah, they're causing a good bit of havoc there in the main. They are going to finally get cleaned up, and the Zerglings getting a decent surround at long last, so they will be able to get taken out there. And now these Lings could be good for a counterattack. We still see that awfully crass positioning at the front door of dOTY, so there is still a window before any more zealots get out onto the map, and the Lings are seeming to run over there. He has a good number of Lings out now as well, struggling to count them. Maybe 8 Lings I see right there, maybe even 9. One of them getting taken out, and the zealot up at the top right hand corner going to get 1 drone kill to its name before it gets taken down, so probably not entirely worth it. And dOTY hatching in more drones now. No, not dOTY hatching in more drones. Ace hatching in more drones now as well. And now we see him going for the counterattack. We have 1 zealot out and waiting, but there are so many holes in this wall. It is just going to be no problem whatsoever for our Zerg player to run through. And let's see how it holds up. Does it have hidden depths, or is it about to be dismantled by a Zergling run by? And here it goes. Ace going to be able to definitely make his way through just as easily as he likes. Getting 1, 2, 3. Will it be more? 4 Zerglings into the main base. dOTY doing a decent job, however, of pulling pretty much all his probes off his natural, so he should be just about okay with the cannon already up in the main too. So yeah, getting away with that simply because of the late nature of the Zergling run. But I want to emphasize that is not because of the wall. The wall is not good. Don't do this at home.
I'm a little bit surprised that Ace didn't focus down the cannons in the front. The cannons aren't protected by other buildings with the exception of this forge a little bit, so it would have been pretty easy for that many speedlings to get surrounds on the cannon before the probes could have been pulled. I think that he might have been able to find a little bit more success going in that route instead, but decided to go into the main not knowing that there was already at least 1 cannon there, with a 2nd cannon on the way, and now even a 3rd one. dOTY might be overreacting with 3 cannons, but you know what?
I think he's completely overreacting. He already has 4 Corsairs out. I mean, maybe not. Maybe once again he has hidden depths. We've already seen how that wall in at the front somehow works out, so maybe this is going to work for him. And he's not in a bad position at all, with more zealots coming out of the map now, with speed too. There's 2 Sunkins ready and waiting, so they, at the best, they could try some sort of run by, but I really wouldn't recommend it. That'd be pretty much throwing away his zealot force at this point. Scourge running around, do see the zealots, so he will be prepared. Of course, Scourge able to do nothing about it personally. And Ace pretty much taking a back seat for the time being, upgrading his overlord speed and just getting all his infrastructure in place. Happy to defend for the moment, while dOTY starts to poke around for some sort of opening.
Yeah, that is a very, very tight Sim City up at the top for Ace here. At the natural, not quite as tight. He didn't put the evolution he didn't spread the evolution chamber in the Hydralisk Den, so this base is feeling just a little bit on the exposed side. But it does have 3 Sunkens, and there are not that many zealots here, so Ace should be fine. He does have a good number of Scourge out on the field. Actually, a really good number of Scourge out on the field. That's almost a control group. And trying to come in for some hits here. There's just not enough Corsairs to take them all out. And he's already killed off 2. I think he got a hit on... No. Okay, he's already killed off 2. The 3 cannons will be sure to protect those Corsairs, though. But, yeah, that's... 2 Corsairs. That's unfortunate for him. He invested in that +1. Those Corsairs need to be doing more damage than they're doing right now. A couple more zealots coming in to join up with the 5 that were already at the front there, but this is Certainly looking too strong for those Zealots to bust. Now with a lot of Speedlings and some Hydralists to defend. Couple DTs joining the Corsairs up at the top of the map, but there's a Spore Colony and 3 Sunkens. That DT will, those 2 DTs will get absolutely nothing done. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say the dOTY's just finding no way to damage Ace this game.
Yeah, I think dOTY's best way forward right now is to produce a shuttle and to try and get some decent harass in on that on the 4th base, which is no doubt going to be happening in just a second, because he's got the DTs out, he's got the Corsairs out, he may as well use them. He should have a Robo on the way up now as well. He does already have one in his natural, and indeed he is doing just that. The shuttle is on the way in now, so I think that's exactly what we're going to be seeing. He's going to try and make use of his decent Corsair number. A couple of Lings sneakily positioned up at that 3rd means he's going to be able to maybe take out both the probes, trying to make the next... Oh, just managed to take out the probes. That's a slight inconvenience for dOTY. Nothing else, however, and he's going to be able to make out that Nexus pretty quickly after he would have wanted to anyway. Coming in with some more Zergers, however, might be able to snipe off the drone again, and this is doing some decent delaying here, and just in time for the Lurkers to get out there, and that's a little bit of a problem for dOTY. If he did manage to get some cannons up, then this would not be nearly such an issue, but he's going to have a little bit of a hard time now. He's at least going to have to wait for observers. I expect him to pick up those CTs quite soon and head on over to the Zerg's 4th to try and do some real damage.
Yeah, Robo facility already done, first observer well on the way, so these Lurkers aren't too scary. He is continuously running away from the DTs. Nope, finally catches one of those Lurkers. And yeah, the first observer should be out before that Lurker can do too much damage. But as you said, this map is very good for harass. There's a lot of opportunities for specifically dropship style harass, and definitely expect to see dOTY implement that very soon, as he already has a shuttle out, already has some Dark Templar.
Yeah. And it could be effective because that's a decent number of Corsairs he's got roaming around. I don't know if he produced more. Is it still just 3 or did he make more?
I think yeah, it looks like 4 maybe, but
okay,
still not a very high number.
No, that's not enough high enough number to actually deal with Scourge should they come his way. I mean, they can tank some damage if they're coming towards the shuttle, but that's pretty much all they can do at this point. Maybe snipe the odd Overlord in the late game. But we do have an Overlord coming in there. I'm just checking if it was actually full of Lurkers, but no, it's not. It's just going to be positioned over there to see if anything's coming out of the back of the Protoss main. And it actually looks like these Corsairs are going to get taken down pretty badly. Doing a lot of damage, taking a lot of damage rather. They're going to get pretty badly whittled down. But all the while, the big engagement's going to be going down. The Protoss decides it's time to move in. And this is going to be a nice engagement for dOTY. He's got the army superiority. All these Hydralists are going to be falling, and Ace is going to have to pull back. He's going to be heading up that ramp. He stands to lose a fair few units while he's doing that. And this could actually be a chance for dOTY to push all the way up. I don't think he should be pushing into this bottleneck, though. There is easily a way round for him, so he can get a more superior engagement position. But he is forced to pull back after losing the spearhead of Zealots, which is what he really needed. And oh no, throwing away all his Corsairs! dOTY, take better care of your Corsairs. They can come in so useful throughout the game. A little bit of a mistake there from him, and getting, once again, too overeager, just trying to bust up that ramp when it wasn't quite necessary. He had the time to move around and readjust, and even to wait for reinforcements.
That ramp is an absolute meat grinder. Ace lost 5 Hydralisks in the retreat just trying to get away from dOTY, but then dOTY lost all of his Zealots trying to attack Ace. It's just so tempting to try to get up that ramp, but it can cost a player so many units. dOTY this time smartly going to go around and attack at a much better angle, and that's a pretty solid force. The thing I'm surprised at is dOTY has not had any High Templar this game. So no Storm means that his army is significantly weaker than you'd otherwise think, and now it's almost a pure goon army as the first few Zealots come out. Finally a High Templar joins into the battle, but it's a little bit late now. It might be able to get off one good Storm. Oh, that is not a good Storm. Oh. And the Observer's even going to be sniped, and he's going to be able to get away with some of the Dragoons, but a very bad attack overall. Ace beautifully taking care of that.
Yeah, that was a horrible challenge for dOTY. I mean, he's lost quite a lot of units. He's lost at least 2 control groups of stuff there, just kind of throwing it in wantonly and eating so much Lurker damage. It's really not pretty. Going to be heading back up that ramp, might lose 1 or 2 more Dragoons on the way. It looks like he's going to be alright. And producing probably enough reinforcements to hold on to this, but I don't know if he's got another observer out quite yet. It looks like his only observer, which was out, has been sniped. So as soon as these Lurkers come in, you might find himself in a bit of a tricky situation, unable to detect them and therefore unable to do anything about them. We now have a shuttle going into the Zerg's 4th base, and the colonies are not out yet. They do start morphing, but not before a few drones are going to be going down. He's going to have to try and have a bit of a crack at the sunk colonies as well if he's going to be doing any prolonged damage here. It looks like he's going to go straight for the hatchery, and this probably isn't going to work though. It is down to about half health already, however, and will this be enough? One of them is a spore colony, so this could actually happen for dOTY. He might be able to take down this 4th base. There is of course another hatchery there, so all is not lost. for Ace, but even so, that's a little bit of a problem. And doing the double prong attack, dOTY moving down to the bottom as well, while the army is preoccupied up at the top. Nice move from dOTY. He can actually do some decent damage if he starts poking in now and trying to do something a little bit more decisive than just wobbling around on the edge.
Yeah, that very nice decision by dOTY. He's going to focus on that hatchery. That's going to be a huge blow to Ace, as mining going to be quite inefficient here for a while. But there are a lot of fragmented units out for both players in the middle of the map, and this is a very scary situation for dOTY, as he has a lot of very vulnerable units, Dragoons and High Templar, if he's not keeping his army completely together. Looks like most of Ace's army is coming up to shut down this base, but oh, he has a very large army in the middle of the map that he needs to worry about. If dOTY can land those storms better than that first one, this could devastate Ace's force here.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good. I mean, Ace got himself in a bit of a tricky spot. He's going to have a hard time getting out of there. I mean, he's safe up the ramp, but he needs to get down the ramp if he wants to make actually good use of his army. And dOTY now has the ability to push up to the top right or down to the bottom right, pretty much as it takes his fancy. And Ace using this opportunity while dOTY's army is out and about to move down that ramp. But if he gets caught on the way back, then he stands to lose a good amount of his standing army. dOTY with plenty of storm, a decent composition of zealots and dragoons there, which could do a pretty good job of taking down this army. It looks like Ace is going to be able to get all the way back, but will he get it back in time before this big push from dOTY comes in? It looks like he probably will not, and he might get caught in two halves here. dOTY could get a very, very nice engagement going down, and it looks like he will do exactly that. This army being caught completely in half, and Ace is in complete disarray. The entire army getting taken down without pretty much no losses for our Protoss player. So he's in a great position now to really hold on here and prolong this engagement and just keep on taking down the reinforcements as they come in, after which he'll be able to make a good attempt on this top right-hand base. Ace now in complete panic, trying to get something together, running units up to the top right-hand corner. He's got a good number of lurkers coming through reinforced, but he's got nothing to tank damage for them. He has a few lings only. He needs a lot more than that, otherwise his lurkers are going to be easily taken down by a great number of dragoons, zealots, and storm. And now dOTY pushing in, laying down a quite amusing storm in the middle of all those colonies. Not quite sure how he managed to do that. And the lurkers coming in now, but there is a Dark Templar. It is quite easily taken out. If he can get a good storm on that clump of lurkers, it's going to be really nice. And he does, in fact, do just that. This is such a terrible position for Ace to be in. And dOTY may be able to take this right here after a horrible engagement for Ace, getting his army completely caught in two mines here. And I'm not quite sure how he's thinking that is going to go, but this has been really, really well played from dOTY, looking very, very decisive, pushing in, and he may well be able to take this match here if he can hold off the Zerg's reinforcements.
Yeah, this would be a great opportunity for cracklings if Ace had it, but that's still just a little bit of a ways away, as Hive is just finishing up pretty soon here. It's, oh man, there's so many Dragoons here. It's going to be very hard for Ace to get into the correct position. He needs to take this out, and it looks like he will be losing his third, and that might be losing him the game. I'm not sure what he can do at this point to deal with that huge number of Dragoons, even if they are all slightly injured, and GG from Ace. dOTY goes up 2-0, and excluding walls looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he's looking untouchable. If we completely take out the equation his bizarre tendency to build crap wall-ins, he's really looking incredibly strong. I mean, Ace had nothing that game. Really nothing.
Well, it's a long road ahead for Ace. He needs to win 3 in a row against a very aggressive opponent, dOTY.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna go on to Bloody Ridge, which I don't know if I like that map as much as Aztec for what Ace is trying to do.
No, I think he could run into some real difficulty here. Not that he hasn't already. But this could be really, really tough for him. I want to do a little bit of a shout out in between games, of course. Big shout out, first of all, to our sponsors. I would like to thank Sales Viewers, Nay, Shotcoder, Prowler, Nebopolis, Ruskig, Trap, and of course, Altitude, which is the game after which our illustrious tournament is named. If you go over to altitudeisl.net and take a look, you can link straight from there to altitudegame.com, where you can play their fantastic game entirely free, of course. You've seen the advert, you've seen all the great reviews, you don't need me to tell you about that. So big thanks to all those guys for making this tournament possible, and I can highly recommend the wiki page for itself as well. Keep up to date with all the tournament goings on right there. Also, if you haven't already, please head on over and upvote our Reddit thread, because it gets more viewers and gets the tournament really cooking. So, that is me done. Let's go on to this game.
All right, game number 3, Ace versus dOTY. Ace on the brink of elimination. All right, so, Right, you're gonna call it out. Go for it.
I am going to call it out. That's pretty much my role in this. Otherwise, you'd deprive me of my raison d'etre. In the top right-hand corner, coming in as the blue Protoss, we have ISL 3 dOTY displaying supreme power so far in these sets. And in the bottom left-hand corner, spawning in as the brown Zerg ISL 3 Ace, and he's going to have to pull something special out of the bag in order to really take this down. He's got to win 3 straight games now. Really, really tall order, even for such an impressive player as himself.
Yeah, this man, and I don't like this. I don't like this map at all. Considering how aggressive dOTY's been, I think that this map is going to be really good for aggression. It's a map where you can take the close bases, I guess, but then that's still more chokes to have to defend, and it's still not easy to get all your armies to all those locations. And you don't even want to take the 3 closest expansions to you. You want to take the natural, 1 close one, and then a corner expo, and that corner expo is going to be almost impossible to hold against that kind of aggression. In Ace, well, 12 pool didn't work, so go over pool. Over pool didn't work, so go 9 pool. That might be dOTY's best weakness. Challenge that wall. Go for an extractor trick. 9 pool, hopefully speed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, it looks like dOTY's gonna wall correctly.
Yeah, which is ridiculously weird, especially since this map it can actually be a bit difficult if you don't quite know what you're doing. But yeah, he's going to wall alright, but Ace can still have a decent shot. Even with a good wall, a Zergling Rumba can still be effective, so I think Ace is probably going to stick to his guns here, and he's going to go for exactly that. I mean, I think it's probably going to be, although it does look like that drone is going to head out and lay down the hatchery now, so either way, it's not going to be a super early kind of Zergling aggression build, but he is throwing down a few Zerglings now, so he's going to get out there and get some presence on the map at the very least. And he's going to clear this pesky drone, this pesky probe rather, as his natural expansion, being able to see 1 drone running with its tail between its legs already, another one coming out to replace it, which will be able to do the job, and will be able to get rid of... Oh, but the pylon being laid down in the natural expansion waits to be annoying dOTY, and he's really trying to exert his dominance right here.
Yeah, Lings are out for Ace. It looks like Ace is just going to go and expand to the 3rd instead, and dOTY... is that... Can he not fit the gateway in? Can he not fit the gateway in on the left side?
Let's see. I think he can. Maybe not. No, I think he can.
No, he can't build on that bones. Oh, wow. Wow, dOTY! Oh, man, dOTY's pulling probes to try to defend it. I don't even know what these probes are trying to block. Oh, he can't fit the gateway. You can't fit the gateway.
Oh, he can.
Oh,
he can get the gateway there.
But then it's not tight on either between the gateway and the forge, or... Oh.
So that's a little problem for poor dOTY. It looked so good. It looked so promising. It looks like he was going to have a good wall in, but thwarted at the last second by his own building placement. We would expect nothing less.
Yeah, 2 cannons early, though, means that Ace is going to need a little bit more before, if he indeed intends to Zergling bust it. Those 2 cannons can pick up the Zerglings quite quickly. The extractor's done. We'll have to see whether he goes for speed or lair first, but if he was to go for speed with that late of an extractor, that would be quite the late Zergling bust. I'd be surprised. I think that Ace is just going to be forced to play a normal game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a Zergling bust at this stage. There's 2 cannons up. It's a decent enough wall in to hold out at this point anyway. So, yeah, I think Ace is forced into the standard game, and this is just what dOTY would want. We can see that as soon as it gets into the mid game, dOTY just seems to have this big old advantage. I don't know where it comes from or why, given the way he was built up before this game. But yeah, dOTY looking incredibly stable, and I think he'll be happy to going into this stage of the game as he is.
Yeah. It's... Yeah, as I said, I just think that this map is going to be just so good for what dOTY wants to do. Ace has to defend so many fronts if he wants to expand. Otherwise, he's just going to be really contained back. And Ace got the early Hydralisk Den. It looks like he's going to go for another... it looks like he's going to go for a bust again. Will dOTY hard counter it, or will he go for a standard build? I really don't like Ace's chances if dOTY... unless this Hydra... Excuse me. I don't like Ace's chances if dOTY gets the normal build build, and the Hydralisk Bust doesn't work immediately, and oh no, he's going for the Citadel again. It looks like he's going to go for another really heavy speed lot build, and I don't think Ace can do it.
No, I don't think Ace is going to be able to. I think we're going to see a very, very similar thing as to what we saw in the previous game. I don't see how it can really pan out any differently, and I think dOTY has got this absolutely called. That probe has survived for a ridiculously long time. He's going to pop in there and see the first of the Hydras going out, so he's entirely clued up as to what's going on, and I think his game plan is solid, and he's going to have a great number of speed lots out in order to deal with this.
Yeah, there's the Hydralisks I've started making. He's going to be trickling them in, adding to it. But this is looking like it's going to be a pretty nice wall for defending against Hydralisks, at least. dOTY coming out a little bit early, though, with just a couple Zealots and a Dragoon. He doesn't quite realize that the Hydralisks are on the way yet. Ace has to make a decision whether he wants to attack with the Hydralisk and pick off these units, or whether he wants to try to hide them. Nope, he's going to go in for the attack, see if he can pick any of them off, but no, not getting the surround with the Zerglings means that dOTY can get back with those units, and keeping those 3 units alive certainly going to help. Can the Dragoon not get back? Oh, no, yes, it can.
The wall's not that good. I think that was more indecision on Ace's part. I don't think there would have been any function to him hiding the Hydras to that point. I think he was just maybe recollecting them a little bit. And now we see the Prots pushing out, and a very, very bad timing indeed. But he does manage to get a decent number of pylons up, decent number of cannons up, with an extra pylon in there as well, just to make sure that he's going to be absolutely safe from any kind of big pylon site, which is very, very sensible. We can see that thing really coming back on many Protoss players throughout history. And with a decent number of Hydras out now, dOTY is safe. dOTY is safe. Ace is safe for the moment. Again, my name's so incredibly confused here, but dOTY should soon be able to push out as his speed zealot count is steadily climbing here. And the +1 upgrade is going to come in as well. Those Hydras shouldn't be able to do anything too much about that. Yep,
that forge is quite tucked away nicely. And even if he could find the sweet spot, there's just not enough time. Is that cannon? Yeah, that cannon's in range. Can shoot the Hydralisk as well. So... yeah, Ace, I don't think he can. I just don't think he can make enough Hydralisks to really make this work. He's adding on another hatchery and adding on a lair now. In fact, adding on 2 more hatcheries. I think he realized that he needs to go for a transition. But here come the Zealots here, and that's going to be quite painful. Ace forced to back up here, and now, this is going to be This is going to be very hard for him to defend with poor Sim Cities and not many Sunkens at either of his bases. Just the one at the expansion.
Yeah, he's probably not going to have enough to defend this. I mean, he's going to try. He's going to try and stick this in the nice choke point, which is a good decision from him. He's able to land quite a few free shots on these Zealots, losing only a couple of lings for his trouble. But he's going to need a lot more than a few nice Hydralisk shots in order to really hold this off. Bring down some extra Sunken colonies at both of his bases, but once again, he's going to need more if he's going to hold these off. He needs at least 3 Sunkens at each base because the Zealots are coming thick and fast. We can see more reinforcements coming in through the middle. Dragoon doing its weird wobbly around thing at the back as well. Going to go and probably pick off that Overlord at the top right hand corner. Very, very sensible move from dOTY. And now the Zealots look like they're making ready to go into this left hand side base, and he definitely has enough to deal with both these Sunken colonies. And will Ace be able to get enough reinforcements in time? I don't know if he will. And here it goes. This could be the big engagement for dOTY. He might be able to take this 3-0 here if this is enough of a resounding success. Those Sunken colonies are not going to last 2 seconds versus such a strong number of Zealots, and the Hydras are now coming in. Does he have enough? Will he be drilling? He will be drilling with the drones in a desperate attempt to try and defend this, and he's actually cleaning up quite a lot of Zealots here, and this might just about be effective enough for Ace. If he does a little bit more drone drilling, this could actually be nice. He might be able to save this hatchery as well. The hatchery might go down. The Zealots are falling quickly though. He needs to get some reinforcements in there, and it looks like the hatchery will survive. Somehow Ace does not lose that base, and I think dOTY should not have focused on the hatchery there at all. He had the might with which to go at these Hydralisks, failing to take advantage of his superior army count, and Ace still in this and now on the counter-attack.
It was going to be close either way. That was a very difficult decision for what exactly dOTY had to focus. No, the time before when he focused on the hatchery, it worked out very well for him. This time focusing down the hatchery, just barely not going to pay off, and unfortunately it's not going to be a situation where he has another opportunity to attack it again. Well, just as I say that, a couple of Zealots coming in, they're trying to focus it down. 70 health, 39 health, 7 health, and just barely getting it down. It does, in fact, work out for dOTY, and that is a huge blow to Ace. dOTY doesn't have a huge army left to deal with the Hydralisk, but Ace doesn't exactly have a lot of Hydralisks either, and there are Templar out. Storm is done. Oh, man, that's a huge blow, reducing Ace to once again be only on 2 bases.
Yeah, I think, I can't believe Ace wasn't prepared for that. He should have been ready for something like that to happen. It was pretty much all on dOTY's agenda. Does the DT sneak by? Oh, nice little bit of engagement there for dOTY, laying down a good amount of storm on these Hydras. He is going to be able to snipe out these High Templar. Will they be able to protect the Lurker eggs for long enough? Probably not. These Zealots are going to be moving in, doing some decent damage. Still plus 0 armor upgrade on these Hydras. Will the Lurkers be able to get down? I think they will. Lurkers just being protected for long enough, and down they go. And he will be able to hold this position, morphing some more as well. And I'm having a look for the observer tab. The Robo has only just started now upon seeing those eggs come in. So this will give Ace a nice little bit of a reprieve just for a little bit, and will give him the ability to start beefing his infrastructure a little bit more and really getting things cooking back at home.
Yeah, a little bit surprised that Ace didn't go in for more Templar snipes there. He was able to do some good damage to the Dragoons and the Zealots, but those Templars were very exposed, and he had a good opportunity there to pick them off that would have really set dOTY back and make him a lot less scary whenever he moves out. 2 full health Templars can do quite a lot of damage, but the Lurkers are down. The Robo facility is going to be finished pretty soon here, but he still needs to wait for the observatory and then for observers, so he's going to be safe from a dOTY attack for a little while here, but as soon as that observer comes out, once again, Ace is going to be put on his back foot and needs to figure out a good way to defend.
Yeah. I think the Lurkers is a good option. I think Lurkers is definitely always a good option to defend. You can defend very, very cost effectively, which is exactly what he needs at this point to make sure that he can actually get into the late game in any kind of decent position. Trying to get the top left-hand base laid down, but a good bit of Zealot pressure means that that's probably going to be shut off by dOTY, but Ace getting over there to defend it just as quickly as possible. Will he be able to keep it alive? Yes, he doesn't quite have to cancel it, and that hatchery will be coming in. So dOTY unable to snipe out that base, and now dOTY's in a little bit of a sticky situation because this is the point where it becomes very, very difficult for Protoss to break out and get to third. And if it goes on too long, you can find the Zerg way ahead in terms of economy. You can find your third lacking for way, way too long in order to really be effective. He does have a good amount of time still left to him, though, and a good amount of minerals still left to mine.
That is definitely something that dOTY needs to keep in mind, but given how few units Ace has here, I think that dOTY's not going to have as terribly hard of a time as we've seen. I think that it's definitely something he needs to keep in mind, as he's getting pretty close to mining out at both, well, at least at the natural. Excuse me, at least at the main. The natural is at least okay. But yes, it's something he definitely needs to keep in the back of his mind, and if he lets Ace continue to build up units, he might find himself in a very bad position. But it looks like Ace is going to break out now. I don't see the observer. There's the observer. Okay, it's hanging a little bit farther back. And that is a very spread out lurker field. It's going to be hard to identify where all the lurkers are to get good storms off on him. And that's...
Yeah.
Ooh. That was a very nice positioning by Ace. It's going to force dOTY back. He loses a lot of units. Ouch.
This is actually a really awful engagement for dOTY. We can see he's lost so much stuff, and Ace has lost very, very little. We saw just one storm laid down in that engagement, and it went on a lone overlord, which is not only inexplicable, but also not a really cost-effective way to use a high Templar energy. So this is looking very, very good for Ace now, and if he had lost that contain, he would have been in a rough position, but he did manage to maintain it, and now he comes again, but I don't think he's got the units to do this. If all these lurkers come in, then he's going to have so much trouble. He does lay down a nice storm, manages to pop 1 or 2 eggs and take care of a fair number of Hydras as well. If Ace can hold out until these lurkers come in, then he might still be in a decent position, but it looks like the lurkers are probably going to get surrounded. Are there enough Protoss units to really do this? I think there probably are. The lurkers get down and are able to start landing some shots. And this might actually be enough for Ace. Oh, great storm though. That is absolutely devastating to Ace's chances. Now on 64 supply versus the Protoss is greatly superior, 100. He needs to get a lot of units out faster. Oh no. Big Overlord bust. Those Corsairs suddenly be incredibly useful. And my god, dOTY coming out of the shadows to absolutely tear into Ace. And it looks like barring anything really crazy, he may manage to take it 3-0 here. Ace not out of this yet, but he's going to be fighting an incredibly uphill struggle from here on in.
Yeah, this is a very scary army coming up from dOTY, and this is a very vulnerable looking base up at the top left. Ace trying to get some Hydralisks into position as he shoots on the Corsairs flying overhead, but there's just not enough Hydralisks to deal with that many speed lots. Even if the speed lots don't have High Templar support, I don't see any in the reinforcements either. But doesn't matter. Those Zealots can do a lot of damage, but they're focusing on the hatchery. They do manage to take it out pretty quickly, but take a lot of shots in the meantime. Still doesn't look like it's gonna make a difference. The Zealots are just so beefy. So beefy, and the Hydralisks only have +1. They do manage to take out all of the Zealots, but the Dragoon reinforcements, I think, will in fact be enough. Well, maybe not. Maybe,
No, not quite.
Man, I guess dOTY did get the hatchery, but he could have won that engagement outright pretty easily if he had just focused on the Hydralisk beforehand.
Yeah, it's the same story as we saw before as well when he was going into the third base. He should have focused down the army. I mean, but yeah, he hasn't quite taken advantage of his position at all stages in this game. He's still looking good, of course, he's still looking good. But Ace is managing to get a good standing army out. He's got plenty of Hydras now out on the map, and he may actually be able to hold off this next wave of aggression as well. dOTY going in a little bit by bit as well. Ace with some decent scouting information. That Overlord does get taken down, but he's got still plenty of supply. Oh no, he hasn't still got plenty of supply. In fact, he is once again supply blocked. Okay, so he needs more Overlords out just as soon as possible. But I don't think dOTY has the strength with which to push, and I think trying to do so could be a big mistake right now.
Yeah, it's pretty risky. He wants to keep on the aggression just to keep Ace on his back foot, but he might get a little bit ahead of himself if he's not careful here. Storm going down, not hitting a lot. There's the second Storm. That's a little bit better, hitting the Lurkers at least. And there are a good number of Hydralisks. Ace needs to micro this very carefully, very well, and it looks like the micro will be well enough. dOTY's going to be forced back, and it looks like he's going to lose the High Templar. Oh, no! Oh, no!
Oh, no! Ace throwing away so many Hydralisks right there. All of a sudden, the battle turns as he tries to snipe off High Templar, getting a little bit too impatient there, just trying to keep going in. And that was really weird turn of events. He's now getting up on the high ground, though, continuing to try and snipe off High Templar. Will he be able to get that one as well? It doesn't have any Storm anyway. A couple of Lurkers going to go down here. A little bit wanton once again. And I think dOTY might just have the strength to pull through here, but Ace's Speed Reinforcements coming in, and this should be enough if he gets onto the high ground to take down these Dragoons, and the Dragoons are going to go down. And the question is now, can he get up to that top right-hand corner and take down that third base, which is only just coming in now for dOTY? If he can, dOTY is going to be in a world of trouble and is probably going to be able to lose grip on this game. Ace managed to do a decent job, losing a lot of Hydras now, however, he needs to keep the reinforcements coming in. Actually, no, at this point, he'd probably be better served by just pulling back and looking around to see if there are any more Lurkers on the way in. Apparently, there aren't. I can't see any, and dOTY is still on a decent pair of legs here, continuing to roll across the map just as best he can. One Hydra is up at the top left-hand corner with one second colony defending. Not going to be nearly enough, and Ace is going to have to try and do some nice flanking. He actually wouldn't be able to pick off this High Templar at the back. He may just be. Nice Storm being laid down from dOTY in an emergency situation, and Ace leaving a lot of his Hydralisks to be caught by that. But it looks like dOTY's going to choose to pull back instead of stand and fight, getting his few Dragoons on the way out as well. Another good defense from Ace.
Yeah, Ace is just barely holding on. He's trying to reestablish this base here. He's going to be able to get it up. Possibly, but dOTY's ever-present army is just constantly wearing him down. dOTY's a little bit late on this expansion. It actually wasn't finished yet, as he's mined out in his other two bases, so that one just getting up in time. dOTY's only going to be mining off of one base, though, where Ace could conceivably be mining off of 4, if not 3. So, if Ace can continue with these types of engagements, where he doesn't lose, but doesn't necessarily get that crushing win he needs, he might be able to hold on long enough that his economy just overwhelms dOTY, who's on one base and doesn't seem intent on taking any other ones. The attack's coming in again. He's focusing down the Sunken Colony very easy, and looks like Ace is just going to lose it. I'm surprised he didn't pull the drones sooner, but still gets the majority of them out. Lurkers unfortunately going to get trapped and picked off pretty easily, but does Ace have more units here? Oh, Storm going down. Storm takes out one of the observers, though. Otherwise, a pretty good Storm hitting a lot of those Hydralisks. Oh, and there's another good Storm hitting, again, a lot of the Hydralisks that were injured by the first one. And Ace is continuing to rally in units here. He might just be able to win the War of Attrition, but these Storms are so damaging to the Hydralisks, doing so much damage, but he will continue to rally in units, never stopping this aggression, and there are a lot of exposed High Templar here. He should be able to pick them all up if he's paying attention. Storm going down once again, killing off some of the Hydralisks. He picks off 2 of the High Templar, 3 of the High Templar, and forces dOTY back once again, but it costed him his expansion. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, Ace just managing to cling on at this point. dOTY's just keeping the aggression going. Of course, dOTY is now relegated to a one-base economy, so it's a good thing he managed to take that base down, because otherwise he would have been in a huge amount of trouble going into the rest of this game. He really needed to get that, and he in fact did, so that works out all right for him. Nice Storm being laid down on the remainder of the Hydralisks, and they're running for their lives just to try and get a little bit of sanctuary up the ramp. They might be able to pick up a High Templar if they're lucky. No, probably not going to be able to. And Yeah, just looking at this, I'm not quite sure who's in the best position right now. dOTY has nothing in the bank, but he does have a decent standing army. His economy is weak, and if Ace can hold on for a little bit longer, I think he might be able to take this but dOTY might be able to take this right here if he can power all the way on in to Ace's main, and Ace might get a drone transfer caught here as well. No, he drills back just a little bit to try and preserve his economy as much as possible, and he needs to hold on. He needs to just throw down a SimCity as much as possible here, just to try and keep his natural expansion alive, and bringing in some lurkers now from the top left-hand corner with a good reinforcement count of Hydras too. This could be a very, very close engagement. Oh, a Storm just missing the huge stack of drones as it goes past there, and will Ace be able to hold on here? Does he have the lurker might? A future goon's going to be caught with their trousers down here, and the Hydra is going to come in and take care of those very, very easily, but there's still a good number of zealots going to be busting their way into the main base, and the natural and main of Ace are looking in serious jeopardy at this point. And I don't know if he can get back fast enough or more effective enough to really deal with this without losing too much of his infrastructure.
Well, so far he's only launched 2 sunken colonies, so if he can clean this up in time, it'll be fine, but the units are coming into the main. They might be able to take out some of these higher cost buildings. And right, dOTY still has not expanded, but at this point it's starting to look like it's really just a mistake, not a decision to not expand. You have the position, you know how many opponents you know how many bases your opponent's on. It's just something you should do. It's so safe for him to do it, and I don't know why he's sticking on one base so vehemently. But he is sending some zealots up to harass the top left, and with no Hydralisk anywhere in sight because they're all trying to defend the natural, it's going to be up to the drones. They managed to pick off one of the zealots. One of the other ones is severely injured. I think he might be able to. He's going to be able to save this base just by stalling with the drones. I don't think he's going to lose too many.
Yeah, just about, but he needs more. He needs more. He needs to get up there and defend because there are more units coming in. He needs to keep that base alive just as long as possible. Not that he's exactly mining superbly at his natural, where there are still plenty of minerals left too, but if he can defend his base, then he's not necessarily down and out of this match yet, and he's clinging on for dear life whilst dOTY only on one base. And this means that Ace is still able to get in here with a shot. dOTY is able to produce a surprising number of units off that one base. You can do very well when you're producing such cheap stuff as he is. Of course, Zealots and High Templar. High Templar are not necessarily cheap in themselves, but if you're spending on nothing else other than Zealots, then of course you can afford quite a few, even off only a one base economy. Well, essentially a 2 base economy at this point, given that he's mining extra gas. But yeah, even so, if Ace can cling on for a bit longer, he's going to be in a good position.
Yeah, but here comes the next wave. dOTY was forced to pull back because he didn't have an observer, but now he has an observer with a very scary-looking army once again. Going to back up. I'm not sure which direction. I think he's waiting for just more reinforcements, but 2 Archons, a whole mess of speed lots, and those High Templar mean that this is a very scary base to try to defend. There's even a Spore colony there, possibly for detection.
No.
And so much damage done to the Zealots because the Observer wasn't there in time. Some good storms going down, not quite catching the drones, but almost still doing great damage, but forced to back up once again. And are these... Oh, no. Great storms. But there's a Hydralisk coming in from the back. Might be able to snipe some of these things. Still more and more storms going down. The Lurkers are advancing as well, but Dragoon reinforcements coming back.
Why would you advance with the Lurkers at that point? They needed to be buried. They were safe where they were. Ace defending right down to the bone here. Can he cling on? I think he's trying to make sure to prevent that base going up at the 12 o'clock. But he needs to hold on to the top left-hand base for dear life right now. And he's doing exactly that. Flanking around with a few Hydras there was a good idea, but he didn't quite have the might to make it properly effective. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for any kind of sneaky drop tactics to try and get rid of a few probes at dOTY's 3rd and only mining base right now, and sending a few units up to the 12 o'clock as well to try and prevent that from happening. I think he's managed to snipe out the probe that was up there. So delaying that quite well. We have a storm drop being loaded up right now for dOTY as well. I don't know quite where he's going to be headed with that. The only possible place where he's going to be able to do any damage to the natural, he will know that there are no real drones to speak of at the top left. And Ace, can he cling on? This is the question we've been asking pretty much from square one in this game, making for an incredibly tight and exciting match right here. And if Ace can hold on just a little bit longer, then he might be able to do this just a bit longer.
Yeah, it's... Ace is now running into the same position that dOTY did. He's just getting mined out. The 3rd is gone. The main is gone. The natural is close. And, oh no! Huge walk-up storm! With those High Templar killing all the drones. And Ace is only mining from 1 natural. He's now going to transfer more units over. But with Ace only being on 2 bases now, it's no longer a matter of holding on. He needs to start advancing his position, and I don't know how he can manage to do that at this point.
No, I don't know how I can either. Ace is doing a fantastic job of holding on. His army is building up steadily as well, but he's only on 54 supply. That is such an incredibly low supply count. I mean, dOTY on 105, granted, most of that is tied up in probes. He's incredibly saturated in the right hand. But yeah, he needs to really expand his infrastructure, otherwise he's going to have trouble to really go anywhere. And dOTY's just going to keep on going. He's going to keep on battering away, and eventually he might just throw enough units to stick.
Yeah, dOTY's finally going to get that 4th base up around the same time that his right expansion is going to be mined out, but yet again, huge attack coming in, many Archons, Dragoons, and Zealots. Every composition slightly different than the last, but takes out one of the observers. There's still another one behind it though, so Spore Colony didn't quite serve the purpose as it needed to. That is going to be taken out very quickly, and now Ace, in a full retreat with his units, has only this base mining, and that is very close to mined out. Ace going for a counterattack, trying to take out that top expansion. He has a lot of Hydralisks there. They may be able to do some good damage to the drones. Good storm going down, hitting so many Hydralisks. The probes were pulled to try to stop them from coming up, but the Hydralisks can kill them pretty quickly, even if only some of them are focused on it. Oh, great storm spread, hitting so many of the Hydralisks, and it looks like these Hydralisks are going to be cleaned up without taking out this base. They do manage to take out all of the probes, but as you said, dOTY heavily saturated. It doesn't matter, and Ace is going to be mined out very soon. He's not expanded anywhere else. This is all the minerals Ace has left, nothing in the bank. And I think that this might be Ace's exit. GG!
GG! Oh, Ace 3-0 out to dOTY. This is a huge upset right here. dOTY taking that down in emphatic style. And what a final game of that series. Action all the way, packed from start to finish. And finally, dOTY taking the war of attrition 3-0. Ace going to be deeply disappointed. No silver place for him.
No, we will have a new person to take 2nd place in ISL 3. That is for sure. Great series between the two players. dOTY with that borderline reckless aggression. Just brilliant. Good stuff.
Yeah, great stuff. I mean, yeah, didn't expect to see that coming. And certainly a game as epic as that was a great way to finish off such an unexpected series. But great job there by dOTY taking out a superb player in Ace there. And we will see him advancing to the next stages. So yeah, I guess we're ready to go on to whatever awaits us next.
Yep. So we will be going into the next match, Schnitzel versus Jumper, of PvP between two of the best form Brood War has. Should be quite exciting. Just a quick commercial break and then we will get right to it. Stay tuned. And there we go. We are back. Schnitzel versus Jumper, a PvP. And nope, there we go.
We're back?
We're back.
Oh dear. You caught me eating a cookie. Sorry. I'll get rid of that.
Man, now
Okay,
I want
I'm
a
good.
cookie.
No, I know. I have that effect on people. Yeah, I'm so glad I have cookies right now. I'm going to look forward to those.
All right.
Sorry, deeply unprofessional of me.
Snitzel versus Jumper. Game is up.
Okay, I've arrived.
All right. So, going in to game number 1 of Snitzel versus Jumper.
Yeah, let's be ready for some more crazy